Good day. I'm kind of excited about our next excursion into meatball land. We're going to make a vegetarian spaghetti and meatballs. We're going to use eggplant, and we're going to serve it over pasta with a marinara sauce. And it's for our vegetarian friends who don't want to eat pork, lamb, chicken, beef, or any of the other things that we've used for meatballs so far. So what we're going to do is heat some oil, using olive oil here. And we've got our eggplant cut in little cubes. So there's some debate whether you should salt your eggplant or not. And none other an authority than Melissa Clark of the New York Times, who I follow, never salts her eggplant. So if Melissa Clark doesn't need to salt her eggplant, I'm not either. Now, salting it while it's in the pan, different. Some people salt it beforehand to take out the bitterness, but we're going to cook it for half hour or so, and any bitterness that's there will be long gone. All right, so we're going to put our eggplant in. And the salt and pepper, even though I just said this is for taste, not to take out any bitterness. So we're going to saute this until it begins to wilt a little bit. So right now we're going to let this cook for about 10 minutes or so, and then we'll be back. All right, as you can see, the eggplant's cooking away. It's getting nice and soft. So we're going to add some spices, Italian spices, a little oregano, a teaspoon of oregano, and this is the stuff that I would add to a marinara sauce, any kind of red sauce, is thyme, and a little sweet basil. Alright, so we're trying to infuse the Italian flavors that you would actually find in a meatball into the eggplant. Alright, so our eggplant is very soft, so we're going to move it and put it in our food processor. That's going to cool as we do the next part, which will be cooking some onions and the garlic. So we're just going to put a little more oil in there. And this is one shallot. You decided to use shallots because they have a little bit better taste than a white onion, and a little bit smaller, so they'll fit what we need here. And so I'm going to stir this for just a minute. Get some of the eggplant off the bottom. I'm going to use a little already minced garlic. We like to use, for things that are cooking for an extended period of time, I like to use the jar minced garlic. Is that, as they say, is fresh garlic better? Yeah. Is it that much better? Not really. So, if it's not really better, it saves a little time, we're going with the already made. Alrighty. So as this is cooking away, sauteing and getting a little bit soft, we're going to move over to the food processor. Move this over here. A little bit of glare on it. So this is a can of cannellini beans, just regular old white cannellini beans. Put that right in. Right? And we're also going to try to pulse these. Alright, for now. I think we're ready with the onions. Let me get a bowl and add first the onions down here. Turn off our heat. And get all our nicely caramelized onions and garlic into the pan. See? Then we're going to add in our bean and eggplant mixture. So if you don't have a food processor, and I will tell you this food processor is from our wedding, which is almost 30 years ago, a blender worked just fine. All you're trying to do is just get smaller pieces to be able to make the meatballs. And you get some of the moisture out of the beans. All right. All right. So we let this cool for a minute, and then we'll be back to put our dish together. At least get the meatballs in the oven. We're ready to make our meatballs. So the mixture, which is the eggplant, the beans, and the onion garlic mixture, has cooled sufficiently. So we're going to throw in a little parsley, a little chopped parsley. Okay. Just give it a little stir. A little more salt and pepper. A little crushed red pepper. A little heat there. Not a lot. When I'm making meatballs, I like to put in Parmesan cheese, so I'm just putting a little grated Parmesan. And last thing we're going to do, this is a cup of Italian breadcrumbs. They're going to go right in. And we'll stir this around. Get it nice and mixed. Yeah, ooh, that smells good. All right, let me put on my gloves. All right, we're ready to make the meatballs. Got a sheet pan, parchment lined, and have my gloves on to make some eggplant meatballs. Hopefully they will have a meatballish taste, Italian taste, with all the different ingredients we have here. So make them golf ball size, and hopefully we'll get 10 to 12 out of this, and we'll be back in just a minute. We've got our meatballs. There's 11. Could probably make 12. I've made some of them smaller, but anything around 10 or more is fine. So we have a preheated oven at 375. We're going to put these in for about 20 minutes. And I should mention, as with all the other meatballs, you want to turn them about halfway through. Put our timer at 20. And the next thing we're going to do is look at our red sauce. So this is going to be the base of our dish. It's a red sauce, marinara sauce. You can doctor it any way you want. We're going to put a little bit of oregano in. A little bit of the sweet basil, same flavor palette, and a little bit of thyme. And we're going to heat this over a simmer and just kind of let this cook down a little bit, and we'll serve this over the pasta and under the meatballs. So we'll be back in just a minute when the meatballs are finished and put the dish together. Okay, we've baked our meatballs. They're nice and brown. Smell wonderful. They've got that Italian herbaceous smell to them. So the way we're going to serve this, we've got a plate of pasta, and this should be made obviously before you take the meatballs out of the oven. So we're going to take a little bit of sauce, spoon it over the pasta. All right, and I'm going to put a couple of meatballs on top. Eggplant meatballs. Spoon a little more sauce over top. Top with a little chopped parsley. Finish it off with a little grated Parmesan cheese. So there you have it. Eggplant meatballs. Little pasta, eggplant, red sauce, Parmesan cheese. What's not to like? So thank you for watching. Hope you've enjoyed our meatball series, and we'll see you next time.